The birth of a baby, one of life's happiest moments. But for some women, about 1 in 500, childbirth can trigger a terrifying roller coaster with a sudden onset of severe mental illness.
Are your thoughts jumping around a bit?
I'm mad as a box of frogs.
There was all these rows of trees and I thought about hanging myself from one of them, but I don't want to do that.
It's a challenge to you. You're my psychiatrist. You want to know what's going on in my head and I want to know what's going on in your head.
What Hannah and Jenny are experiencing is a condition that is almost unheard of. Postpartum psychosis. New mothers are overwhelmed by extreme low or high moods, strange and dangerous thoughts, paranoia, delusions.
Good God! I might be Prime Minister by the end of the day.
Postpartum psychoses are the most severe illnesses that we see in psychiatry. But it's also an episode of illness that women recover from and can recover from quite quickly.
But with a severe shortage of specialised psychiatric care, it's a postcode lottery whether mothers get the expert help they urgently need. Over 80% in the UK don't.
I just want to be better for my daughter. Yeah.
We follow Hannah and Jenny as the team at Winchester's Mother and Baby Unit help them fight this frightening illness and keep mother and baby together.
Okay, I'll be a good girl.
We love each other 'cause it's you and me. I love you and you love me. We love each other 'cause it's you and me.
12 weeks after she gave birth to baby Esther, Hannah was admitted to the specialised psychiatric unit at the Royal Hampshire County Hospital in Winchester.
There was a time when she completely believed that she was God, and that clearly isn't the case, and it's not something that she normally believes.
There we go. There's a good girl. Oh, you're such a good girl.
Hannah is 27 and a trained nurse.
If I could explain just how amazing my husband is, I don't think there would be a word that could encompass it. Andy, for me, has been such an amazing support. He was the beginning of the end for me, really.
She met Andy 3 years ago. They soon married and decided to start a family.
It's indescribable having a new little baby that we've brought into the world is quite something quite special.
But 3 months on, the joy of Esther's birth was overshadowed as Hannah began to have delusions and suicidal thoughts.
I almost didn't recognise her. It was like looking at a different person. You would talk to her, try and engage with her, try and comfort her, and no matter what you said, there was no comforting her.
What Hannah was experiencing is a condition far more severe than postnatal depression. Things came to a head one day at her parents' home.
She just collapsed into a fetal position and screamed and screamed and screamed. I mean, I can only say that it just struck me as complete and utter madness.
I think in terms of mental illness, I don't think I've seen anybody as sick as that.
I literally couldn't explain what happened to my own daughter. It was horrific, absolutely horrific. Finding it difficult to talk about even now, because I just didn't want to see her ever like that. I didn't expect that at all.
I remember when we were at her parents' house, we were sat down on the sofa and Hannah was really struggling and very, very anxious, and at that time I whispered to her that I married you in sickness and in health.
Hannah was brought to Winchester, where staff took her in under what's known as a section.
When we detain someone under the Mental Health Act, we do it because there is no other way to ensure they get the care, the help, the support, the treatment that they need. And in Hannah's situation, she really doesn't have a very good understanding of how ill she is.
Hello, my sweetheart. Yes, hello. Is your name Esther? Yes.
2 weeks on, the team think Hannah's showing real signs of improvement.
Esther.
Specialist psychiatric care, as well as round-the-clock support with her baby, has enabled Hannah and Esther to stay together, rather than a damaging separation.
I think it's absolutely crucial for Hannah to be together with Esther.
Do you like your bath?
There is lots of evidence now that that makes a difference to the outcome for mum and for baby.
Do you like your bath time? Ooh.
The tragedy is that there are lots of parts of the country where women have no access at all to the specialist care they need.
I kept thinking I was going to hurt Esther, not deliberately, but because I felt so weak, because I was so anxious. I was worried I was going to forget something. But then when I said to people I was worried I was going to hurt Esther, then I think they thought actually physically, but I meant through neglecting her.
The team at the unit use a range of treatments, but the cornerstone is medication.
So Hannah's on olanzapine, antipsychotic. That's a regular prescription, so she receives that daily. She also has another antipsychotic called haloperidol, which she can use as and when she wants. It helps with intrusive thoughts, racing thoughts, delusions.
Can I have some haloperidol?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to sit down?
Thank you.
With Hannah responding well to treatment, she's now allowed to take short trips outside the unit.
I just wondered if I could have maybe a couple of hours leave with Mum. Sure. And her friend and my auntie.
Will you take Esther with you?
Yes.
Have you got everything you need for her ready?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any dark thoughts or morbid thoughts?
No dark or morbid thoughts. Okay. Just very grateful to be here.
Yeah,
Hannah's mum, Pippa, who herself nurses the mentally ill, has come to be her daughter's chaperone.
We're good to go. We're good to go. I'm in a patterned dress with beige shoes and a navy cardigan.
I wrote down what Hannah is wearing. That is in case she were to go AWOL, really. We would need to notify the police as a missing person so that they could have an idea of who they were looking for in the community.
The most noticeable thing showing that Hannah still is quite unwell at the moment is that the range of her emotions is still very large. Laughing and suddenly being terribly, terribly cheerful, and then quite quickly becoming quite upset and almost tearful.
Hi Babin, I'm just ringing to say I'm sorry I haven't made contact sooner. Anyway, I love you.
A phone call to husband Andy is enough to trigger a change in Hannah.
Just sometimes the way he looks at me, he might leave me, and I know this is a lot for him to deal with. I don't ever want to put him through more than what he can bear.
Listen, he loves you very much, and he's been a wonderful husband. So.
He has, but that's the thing, sometimes I don't think I deserve it. He's my rock, because ever since I met him, stuff's got better.
Yeah, and he's amazing.
Oh dear.
Jenny is 37. She gave birth to her second child, Libby, 6 weeks ago.
They can't read me and it terrifies them because they think I'm going one way or the other and I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going from A to B, backwards via Z. Every option, Ferris wheel.
Jenny has become ill postnatally. Her mood is elevated, she's high. She's quite irritable at times.
If you stand there washing your hands, you cannot actually see that sign. So there's no point having it there. If you're going to have it on the window, have it just there.
And it's certainly not right to assume that just because somebody is high, like Jenny is most of the time at the moment, that is a a wonderful, pleasant, great experience.
Jenny and her husband Henry, a GP, have been together since they were 17. They married at 22.
People don't really know who Jenny is because she's unwell and she's not her normal self. But for me, Jenny is she's a really caring person. She's someone who always is looking out for people. She's got a really good sense of humour, which comes across in a different way when she's unwell.
Hello, hiya. Oh, lovely. Hello, hello. Knock, knock, knock. Hello.
I often think of it as being a state of your brain being in overdrive. So your thoughts race, you have many more thoughts than you would normally do, all happening at the same time. The things that you're thinking about become less grounded in reality.
All right, let's get this off you. Ooh, that is a stinky one.
Jenny's first manic episode was quite dramatic. She was out shopping with me and then suddenly disappeared. She threw my phone into the river and then took off in the car, and I didn't know where she was going. And then she was missing for 3 days. And we had the police out looking, police helicopters, and I really didn't know whether she was going to be found injured or dead or alive, and that was terrifying.
I never thought I would.
This episode led to Jenny being diagnosed 6 years ago with bipolar, a mood disorder which causes extreme highs, known as mania, and severe depression.
Jenny's bipolar disorder has had a massive impact on her life. It's because of that she had to give up her career as a patent attorney. And recently she's been working as an artist. We thought for a long time we weren't going to be able to have children at all because of Jenny's illness.
Love is the key to keep the tears on harmony.
A range of psychotic illnesses place women at risk. For Jenny, having bipolar meant she knew she had about a 50-50 chance of becoming ill after having her baby. 3 weeks after Libby was born, Jenny began noticing early warning signs and asked to be admitted here. She's not held under section, but now obsesses about trying to leave.
You know, there's a way out of these buildings. I think I know most of the door codes by now. Lots and lots of ways in and out. I've been in this place for too long.
One of the things Jenny finds very hard is her intensive programme of medication. But with her condition deteriorating, today staff are increasing her dose of an antipsychotic.
I've got your tablets here, your tablet. Do you want to have it after your breakfast, or is it okay to...
What did we agree on? The haloperidol?
Well, you had 1.5 milligrams yesterday,
Yeah.
and that's gone up to 5 milligrams this morning.
5 all the time?
Yeah.
For how long?
Well, probably until you can achieve a good pattern of sleep.
But do I really, really need to take this?
Yeah, because come tonight, that's going to help you to get to bed as you want.
As long as I won't be a zombie all day.
Okay.
And you can watch me take it. It's not gone under the thumb. Okay, I'll be a good girl. Thank you.
Okay.
I think Jenny's attitude to medication is quite a good barometer of how well she is. Because when she's really, really unwell, she won't see the need for any medication and will go to quite cunning lengths to avoid taking it. When she's well, she understands that she needs medication. How are you doing?
Yeah, getting there. I just hate the way that the plan gets changed all the time. And then you get more and more confused, and haloperidol, we've run out of this, so we've now got 2 tablets. It was 1 tablet. And you just get handed a whole pile of stuff to stuff inside yourself.
Yeah.
I know you think it's the right thing, but it just winds the hell out of me.
I know it does, babes. I know. It's a trade-off, isn't it?
Jenny's also irritated by something that's been happening on the ward.
We've had 2 fire alarms. 2 hours that fire alarm went off. Nobody in the building could turn it off. Yeah. 2 hours? Yeah.
Yeah? 11 o'clock?
I know, that's really unlucky.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
It was getting to a level of severity where she was acting on some of her fears and thoughts and concerns. So, for example, she's become very preoccupied by the idea that there might be a fire and how would she be able to escape in case of a fire. And she even went as far as putting Libby in her bath, in her bathroom, because she thought that that would be a good place to keep Libby safe. I don't think there's any chance that she would do anything to harm Libby, but she might, through her distractibility, do things that might make Libby a bit more vulnerable.
We just did it wrong once. Okay, let's try and...
But evidence shows that mothers are a far greater risk to themselves than their babies.
There are various things that Jenny does only when she's unwell that are really significant in her mind, and putting the magnet over her face in that family portrait is obviously one of those really significant things.
I'm just wondering how they'll cope if I'm not here. I'm actually really missing normal family life at the moment. I'm finding it much easier to deal with Esther. I'm actually starting to enjoy it again. It doesn't scare me anymore going home.
You're making great progress, you know, you're recovering. You're not quite there, but you're on the road to recovery.
Dr. Gregoire decides to lift Hannah's section and allow her home for a night.
Hannah coming home today is quite a big moment for me. I mean, she hasn't been home for probably nearly a month now.
I think he was absolutely terrified that they would take me away from him long term.
I guess the only thing that's slightly daunting for me is that if she goes downhill while she's at home, but I'm hoping that's not going to happen.
I'm going to go and make you a feed for when you wake up. Yes, I am. I'm going to make you a nice big feed.
Her 4 weeks in the unit has allowed Dr. Gregoire to build a picture of Hannah's moods and behaviours. There's been a breakthrough. He's been able to diagnose Hannah with bipolar disorder.
I mean, I can't tell you, after 14 years of knowing I wasn't right, to finally have a diagnosis and treatment is like the best thing you could possibly imagine. Like, it's so freeing, and it just makes me feel like I've got a future. I've really got a future. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Just through the...
Thank you. Hi, Babin.
Hey, Babin.
You all right?
How are you?
Right, thanks. Yeah.
Oh, did you want your daddy?
Oh my gosh.
Girl, Mummy was right.
Oh dear.
Oh,
It's lovely to see you, isn't it? It's nice to see you.
Mummy got a bit mad, a bit sad.
The time of going home is a high-risk time in terms of people becoming ill again, very challenging, very demanding, going from a situation where we're there 24 hours a day for her on the mother and baby unit to support her, to watch out for her, to a situation where she's at home. But it has to be done. She can't stay in hospital for the rest of her life, nor would anybody wish her to. So at some point, she's got to take that big, big step for her.
I love my husband so much, and I haven't seen him for ages, that really I'm kind of worried that I just might not be able to control my emotions. I guess I worry that I'm going to get overexcited and go into a mania, but I think I'm becoming more and more aware of my medications and what I need to do with them. I want to give you a hug, is that all right?
Of course you can.
Right, here goes. See you later.
Take care.
Oh, going home. You all right, sweetheart? Okay. Why through all of this haven't you left me like I asked you to?
Because I love you, but also because I knew that that you would get better ultimately.
Do you understand now why I always used to say to you I thought I was better off on my own?
Yeah, but that was because you were ill, wasn't it? And you weren't
Well, I just knew
being
that
honest
I
with
was
yourself
hard
that
work.
you needed some help.
Your sister was right, I was high maintenance.
You are high maintenance, but in a different way.
Oh, we're on the home
No,
stretch.
it's
I
fine.
always remember this corner. Oh, Babin, I'm really excited. I love our house. It's almost a little bit Lords of the Ring.
I don't know what you're on about.
No, Lord of the Rings. That is a
Lord
film,
of the
isn't it?
Rings is fictional, much before 1860 when our house was built.
That's what I mean. It's like a little hobbit house.
Oh, okay.
I'm not mad. It's old. It looks amazing.
Oh dear.
Oh my gosh, look at the garden. Oh, I love it. I want to stay here forever. I'm sorry, it's only because I'm happy.
It's okay. I'm glad you're happy to be home.
I love you. We're going to be okay, aren't we?
Yeah.
Have you come across those drugs before?
Yeah.
So quetiapine and haloperidol are both mood stabilisers, antipsychotics.
Yeah, that sort of thing, yeah.
But I haven't got psychosis, have I?
Well, I think last week they would have said that you were quite unwell. You don't like me saying that, do you?
No, not really.
Well, they described you as being manic last week, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. The only problem is that I'm not really manic. My brain's going really fast and no one else can keep up, and they don't like that.
The problem is with other people's brains rather than your own.
Is there a possibility that that's true?
Well, I think you're probably the only person thinking that it is true.
Despite questioning the medication, Jenny's been persevering with it, but she's not finding the side effects easy.
You know, the most noticeable thing for me at the moment is that I can't see myself, because my vision is so blurred by the side effect of haloperidol that I actually can't see my face in the mirror.
So how are things going with you?
Well, I slept more last night. I'm sure that's been handed over.
Good. Yeah.
I think 8.5 hours in a go.
And your sleep is really important, so
Yeah.
anything that interrupts your sleep we need to try and do something
Because then I have
about.
to resettle. It's actually quite helpful to have to live in one room. Really and truly, the night staff want us in our rooms after medication time. So 11 o'clock, potter around in your room, lights out at midnight. Yeah, which is sensible to promote sleep.
Get into the bed and
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah. So by 11, I know I can't tinker around out there.
And what would your plans for leave be now?
My main priority is to get some time with Ruben, my 2-year-old, and for him to just feel connected.
Dr. Gregoire has allowed Jenny home for one night.
Oh, you're so happy. You haven't had
Really cute. That's Ruben smiling. What are you doing there? Sleeping.
It's so lovely to have Jenny home. I think it's lovely for all of us. I certainly have worried that being with Ruben at home might be a bit too stressful, but it's just been lovely so far. She's been relaxed and has seemed to find it really therapeutic.
I miss just holding him, and picking him up and cuddling him, smelling his hair and being close to him. Look at that.
When Ruben was born, Jenny showed signs of becoming unwell, but with increased medication and psychiatric support at home, she quickly got better.
Pardon? Is Mummy better? Yeah, Mummy is better, isn't she?
I'm going to Winchester.
Well, I have to go back to Winchester a little bit, but I'll be here in the morning and we'll go to preschool together. Okay, see you later. Bye. Can we go this way, really cute?
Next morning, things haven't gone quite to plan.
I think she only slept about 3 hours last night.
Ready, steady, go.
And we know that if she has several nights like that, it can be really detrimental to her mental state.
And I'm just going to fling some things together. And the unit wants me at 12:30 at the latest today.
For Jenny, as for most people with bipolar disorders, lack of sleep is a major risk factor.
Okay.
The risks are that she could be up all night, and that would not be good news, actually.
Well, in my head, I've got 3 nights. If I have a bad night, and it's a signature bad night, which is absolutely no sleep all night, that's not good. I've got 2 days to rectify it, and if I haven't rectified it, then I'm on my way to mania, and that's like skateboarding down a hill when you don't know how to stop. It's kind of fun, but it's terrifying.
I did notice that the bathroom cupboard had been reorganised this morning when I went to shave. When her brain's doing what it is now, she feels that it's all a process she needs to go through in order to feel calm. But sometimes it can just spiral and get worse and worse. It's just so disheartening when she's made quite a bit of progress in the last few days to then have a bad night. It does make me scared that things are going in the wrong direction again.
Take care. Look after Ruby for me.
Likewise, Libby.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm embarrassing. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Over the past week, Hannah's been granted 3 further overnight visits out of the unit. But her behaviour is alarming her mum, Pippa, who's decided to bring her to see Dr. Gregoire.
Come with me, Hannah.
Yeah.
Should we go and find Dr. Gregoire?
You're having a difficult time.
Yeah. Because I don't want to be back here. I want to be at home.
No. Is that what's making you feel a bit rotten?
Yeah.
So have you been feeling like this just today then?
No,
or?
yesterday it was just as bad, if not worse, but I was able to control it with an hour-long walk. It's the olanzapine, it's too high.
And what's telling you that it's too
My
much?
body, I keep getting a headache here.
It wasn't the headaches that were the first thing, was it? It was the lows.
The lows, yeah.
When you were in hospital, you were taking all of these medications fairly regularly.
Yeah.
Things were going reasonably well then. And then you went home.
And I tried to get better too fast.
And you started cutting down on some of the medications, and things got a bit worse. Yeah. Is it possible that actually the olanzapine and the lorazepam are helping?
Maybe you're right. I don't trust my thinking, so that's why I needed to see you today to know what to do. I'm so sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing. I'm so stupid. I thought I was clever.
What you've learned is actually really useful, which is that you have a bit of a more difficult time.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be naughty. I was genuinely trying to get better. And
This is your illness, it's your mind, your body and your medication. It sounds like you need that little bit of extra support and help. There's also one other consideration that I'm quite keen on checking out, and that's that you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
Because I can't get you better if you're not alive.
No.
Are you at the moment wanting to be dead?
No. I just want to sleep a lot.
Right. So you want to just not be feeling how you're feeling, get away from that.
Yeah. I'm getting better.
Are there times when you want to be dead?
Yeah, but I talk to Jesus and it stops. I just say, please stop it, Jesus, please stop it.
When Hannah talks about ending her life, I would say it's probably one of the most distressing things a mum can hear. because you as a mum do everything from the time they're born to preserve life and to enhance their life. And for her to feel that her life isn't worth continuing is really difficult.
Physical illnesses can cause suffering in some cases. So terrible cancers can cause people to be distressed and in pain. But mental illnesses are suffering. They are at the very root of where suffering lies, which is, of course, in our heads, in our brains. And that is gruesome to watch in somebody else. Have you got to the point where you have decided, right now I am going to do it?
No, because I look at my baby and I see that she needs a mum, and I can't do that to her.
Right, okay.
That's why I like waking for her, because it keeps my perspective on her.
Okay. We are here to help you.
I know.
Okay?
You've all been really nice.
Yeah,
I just want to get better.
But we want you to get better, and if we can work together to get you better, that's going to be the most efficient way of doing it.
After 6 weeks in the unit, most women would be well into recovery, but Jenny's condition has suddenly worsened.
So towards the end of last week, things were generally okay. Just since Saturday night, really has become increasingly chaotic in her presentation, calm at times, frustrated at other times, argumentative, tearful and laughing loudly. Sleep hasn't been good at all. So this morning we're kind of seeing a continuation of this behaviour, really.
And her mood, is that predominantly high, low?
It's more high than low.
Right.
When she set off the fire alarms, then she was holding Libby with sort of in a sling. She phoned the fire brigade to tell them it was a false alarm. She was in the blaring noise right by the alarms, not aware of Libby's needs or concerns. I haven't seen it before. I don't know if she's actually aware that she's become unwell.
While Libby is being cared for in the nursery, Dr. Gregoire wants to assess Jenny for himself.
So how are things with you?
Absolutely tip-top. 2020, Tinker Tailor sold a spy.
Right.
I scream in the night. Have you heard that before?
I've not heard you say that before, no.
I scream. I scream.
You're playing on words quite a lot, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you enjoying that?
It's very tiring. You have to have a lot of water to do that.
Is your mind just doing that even when you're not particularly trying to?
No.
Are your thoughts jumping around a bit?
I'm mad as a box of frogs.
Right. Do you think you're not so well at the moment?
I think...
Seriously?
Tout le monde est un peu fou.
Tout le monde est quoi?
Un peu fou.
Un peu fou, oui.
Oui, c'est ça?
Well,
c'est vrai?
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that. Everybody is a bit mad.
Je peux parler le français un peu.
Très bien.
Merci.
Oui.
You want to know what's going on in my head, and I want to know what's going on in your head.
Yeah.
That's
Do
actually
you?
what it is, yes. And I want to rip off that disguise, because it doesn't fool any of us. You're Hercule Poirot.
No, but I'll continue to hide behind it. I suspect that you think you're not that well at the moment. Would that be right?
Tip-top.
Which kind of means I'm very well, but I suspect you're not completely convinced by that. Would that be fair to say?
Tick-tock. Tick-tock. I would like to lie down and go to sleep right now.
Okay.
Everybody else?
I'll leave you in peace, but can I just say what I'd like to do is just increase the quetiapine dose.
Above
which is
800.
Which is above the 800.
That's a challenge.
Well...
How high can we go?
Well, that's always difficult, but we can certainly go to 900.
Up to 1,000.
It may be that
Probably
it works
won't kill
for
me.
you.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it won't. We can keep an eye on you. We'll do say an ECG just to check that your heart's okay and so on.
So I've become
we do a little bit of extra checking.
A rat.
No, you don't, or a guinea pig, but you are an individual, and some people.
Chimpanzee.
It's not an experiment.
It is an experiment.
I think it's too risky to leave it. I think you need to have some more mood stabiliser.
I think I need to have a lot more sleep.
Okay. Well, shall we go for both then?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see what happens over the next few days. So it's kind of a compromise. I'm not saying a huge increase, a small increase.
I'll only do it if it's a game, because I'm
All right.
fed up of being in this place.
You play your bit, I'll play my bit, and we might both win.
Yes.
Good to talk to you.
Great to talk to you. We've made a deal. We've
made a deal.
Gentleman's agreement, I believe it is.
Well, poor Jenny is having a really tough time at the moment. Her thinking's all over the place, I think, is the most striking thing. She is manic. I think she probably is psychotic.
I will bow down to you because you have...
Don't do that.
It's in my culture. I will bow down to you because you give me a way out. That's the point.
Okay.
You're my brother.
Let's get it sorted out.
Kindred spirits.
Yeah. I am surprised that she's become ill again, returned into a state of illness so quickly after getting better so substantially. She wasn't fully better, but she was well on the road to recovery. She seems to me more unwell than she was in the first episode.
She's more unwell.
I find that I don't understand. And yet she definitely improved on this medication regime.
He just said that she's very subtle the way she takes her medication. You might think she swallows it, but she doesn't.
Henry said.
Yeah. So it's just something we've got to be mindful of when we give it to her.
I am a little bit quizzical about why it's happened, and there are a number of avenues we need to check. And a kind of obvious one is whether the individual, whether Jenny has actually been taking her medication exactly as she was meant to, because if she were, that makes this this relapse even more surprising.
Good God. I might be Prime Minister by the end of the day.
Dr. Gregoire and his team are also concerned that Hannah's condition is continuing to deteriorate.
So this is Hannah's words for her weekly review with you. Things that have stayed the same the past week: anxiety and dark thoughts. Things that have got worse or started to trouble me in the last week. The intensity of the dark thoughts when they do come. I've got a quote here saying, just wanted to go to sleep and never wake up, struggling, hopelessness.
She had to be sedated last night to sleep because she was very, very anxious and really had dark thoughts which were really tormenting her. She was high risk yesterday and again today, and so they very discreetly place a chair outside of her room. She has a nurse one-on-one, just sitting, observing, waiting for her to move, and if she moves, they move with her. So she's not actually left to her own devices, and she's never vulnerable and on her own. Just everything seemed bleak, and we'd be better off without her, and she'd be better off not here, and Esther be better off without her.
It's extremely rare that we come across women who might pose a risk of physically harming their infants. It's extraordinary that even though Hannah is very, very ill, suffering gruesomely, her ability to squeeze the last bit of determination out of herself in order to give some care to Esther is still there, that she's still able to do that. To be aware of when she can't, so that she's asking for help from members of staff who, and that's what we're here for, to help her with that.
A few weeks later, Hannah's condition becomes critical.
I received a call from a member of staff called Sam at the unit. I picked up the phone and heard Sam's voice, and I just thought the worst.
She had obviously got so desperate she realised that she needed something that was actually going to do the job properly. And that was when she broke a jar of Esther's food and used the glass to cut her neck and her arm. And was really lucky she didn't end her life, because she was so close to hitting major vessels, which would have been the end.
Most cancers, people want to live. Even though they're suffering, they want to keep living. It's really not until the suffering is unimaginably gruesome and hopeless that they want to die. People with these severe mental illnesses, even though we, the doctors, are telling them that they will get better, they're in such depth of suffering that the idea of living is impossible for them.
I was just desperate to see her better. When someone's not responding to treatment and there doesn't seem to be any way out, and you just see them struggling day after day after day, you think something's got to give. There's got to be something which is going to have an effect.
We were increasing her medications, adding new medications, changing medications. We've been doing all the psychotherapies and psychological approaches to treatment that we have at our disposal. But despite all of that, she had reached a point where this was dangerous. I knew that the most effective treatment to get her better quickly and actually, if we're honest about it, save her life, was ECT. This is a treatment that has a lot of stigma attached to it. It's actually extremely safe, not in the least bit barbaric. The reality of this treatment is that we know it is the most effective treatment and the fastest treatment for severe depression.
I was very much against ECT. I couldn't accept ECT as a accepted treatment, really, because there was no explanation as to how it actually works.
How are you feeling today?
All right, thank you.
Have you noticed any improvement
Yes.
since last time?
I didn't want Hannah to have it. I expressed it in verbal form as well as written form to Dr. Gregoire. But Hannah said to us, I can't go on like this, and if it means that there's a chance that ECT will help, then I've given consent already.
Right, a little bit of fresh air to breathe here. Just take some nice deep breaths.
Hannah's having a series of sessions of ECT. She is anaesthetised first and feels no pain as the treatment is given.
Okay, testing. That's good. Entry.
Just as with an electric shock that we use for shocking the heart when that's not working properly, this electric shock is delivered in a very controlled way, but the electricity causes a seizure. It is very like an epileptic seizure, and it's this element of the treatment that seems to be the bit that is effective in treating the depression. Now there is some hope.
Only 20 minutes later, Hannah is waking up.
balance.
Yeah. Sometimes I have a headache. If I don't have a headache, I have a jaw ache.
Yeah. Is that after each treatment?
Mm. Difficult, really, because it often feels quite surreal. But I just want to be better for my daughter.
Yeah.
She's precious.
I'm really nervous right now about going in to see Jenny, which is a horrible feeling because, you know, in any other circumstance, I just wouldn't be able to imagine being nervous going to see my own wife.
Staff have called Henry to the unit as Jenny's condition is much worse.
That sounds like the fire alarm going off again. I wonder if that isn't Jenny setting off the fire alarm again. She did that yesterday, and she has a pattern of doing that because when she's ill, she has a tendency to think about any means of getting out of the building.
Jenny was really, really unwell. It was really horrible to see. Very disordered and sort of chaotic. It was quite hard to spend any more than a few seconds with her, and obviously not able to settle with her mind on one particular thing, and getting increasingly bizarre. Half the time I really didn't have any idea what she was talking about. So it was pretty hard. And then just now she started running up and down the corridor and was very loud, and I just couldn't get away quick enough, really. It was really hard to be there.
Staff have begun to notice that Jenny isn't taking her medication. I think it was first noticed when Jenny was taking her liquid medication with water and was spitting it back out into the water.
She suspected she didn't need it because she wasn't ill, but also that it might potentially harm her. So if that's what you believe, I can well understand that you wouldn't take it. I know for sure that she really needs this medication in order to get better and get back to her normal self.
If our mums become sort of quite acutely unwell, if they're posing any kind of danger to other babies on the unit or other mums on the unit, sometimes it's not appropriate for us to keep them here just in terms of safety. So we have had instances where we've had to unfortunately have some of our ladies transferred to more of an acute adult unit. Babies can't go there, so that would mean they'd have to be separated, which in terms of their recovery is quite a setback in terms of bonding with baby.
They're really throwing everything they can at it and at the situation and doing everything they can for Jenny. I just hope that that's enough to keep her here, really.
Over the next 10 days, Jenny's behaviour becomes too difficult for the staff on the mother and baby unit to manage. She is now sectioned in a high-security psychiatric intensive care unit 100 miles away.
Having Libby at home has been the most amazing silver lining in this horrible dark cloud. It's really weird that simultaneously you can have such joy at getting to know your daughter and also such misery at seeing your wife in such a horrible place.
Jenny at the moment is so ill that the unit she's in has advised Henry not to visit her.
It feels like we're really probably as separated as we have ever been in 15 years of being married. And I don't know how long that's going to last. I think what I really miss about Jenny is being able to have conversations with her about stuff that crops up, the news from friends, decisions that I've had to make about her care or about Libby's care, where I've intuitively thought, well, you know, when I talk to Jenny about it, we'll decide, and then I remember that I won't be able to talk to Jenny about it for probably quite some time. So I think that's the hardest, apart from just the day-to-day, you know, not having her around the house and not having my closest companion around.
Hannah is back on the unit after another ECT session.
How was the ECT this morning?
Yeah, it was alright.
Even compared to yesterday, you seem much better today.
I anticipate with Hannah that she will get substantially better from this episode of illness. She's now dealing with a realisation of quite how ill she was, of how suicidal she was.
The dark periods are so dark that you just don't get a choice. Every time I wake up, I kind of hope that it's just a nightmare. But that's my constant physical reminder. I don't want it to be a reminder of a nightmare. I want to turn it into something beautiful. So I'm hoping in time to maybe have a tattoo with a verse, a biblical verse, and it's Jeremiah 29:11. And it talks about having a purpose and a plan for your life, and that will bring hope. I guess I was lucky that I do have a future, and I have a baby who has been my focus throughout this, and I'm so glad that I'm beating the illness now and it's not beating me.
How could I be like that? And of course the answer is that it isn't her. Just like if you can't walk properly when your leg's broken, you don't say, well, I'm a person who can't walk properly. You say, at the moment, I can't walk properly because my leg's broken, and it's the broken leg that's causing that, not me as a person. And of course, that applies to everybody around her, and indeed the whole of society. You know, we need to have compassion and understanding and blame these nasty illnesses, not the poor, unfortunate people who bravely have to live through them. You had another one this morning. How are things today?
I'm feeling better. I've not had any dark thoughts today, and I'm feeling more in control. I think that's the bit that it's given me is control back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my memory's actually improved, which I wasn't expecting.
You can get a bit of memory loss with ECT, but the memory loss from severe depression is dramatic.
Yeah.
And because we're treating the severe depression effectively now, what you describe doesn't surprise me that much. I would predict the improvement will now continue. We'll keep at it, and you will get better.
I actually believe that now.
Well, that's a big change. That's a big change. Right, you can see yourself getting fully recovered.
That's changed even from yesterday.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I can see that I'm actually doing a good job with Esther, and that's neat.
Fantastic.
Because I constantly worried that I wasn't doing enough. I want to start to take some more pride in my appearance again. So like have my eyebrows done, have my hair cut.
So that's really good as well. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we come. And cuddle the baby up.
After a month being treated away from the mother and baby unit, Jenny's well enough to come back and be reunited with baby Libby.
There she is. There she is.
When she arrived back, it took quite a while for us to see any improvement. But she's getting there now. And I guess over the last probably 10 days or so, she's got a lot better.
Hello. Hello. Those good ones.
After 4 months of treatment, 3 times longer than average. Jenny is finally turning a corner.
There have been lots of times over the last 18, 19 weeks when I've really not looked forward to coming in at all because it's been too upsetting. So it's nice to be able to be a bit more positive about it.
So I just remember the times when I wasn't with her and feeling really empty at not having either child with me. And I was on a unit which wasn't a specialist unit, so I wasn't with other mothers, and it was an experience that was quite isolating. It was a relief to get back here, and this is more like normal life for me, to have a baby to look after. And within a couple of days I had her back in a cot in my room, and that was really good. That was really positive to have worked towards that again, because that is that's so nice to wake up in the morning to her little noises and to be able to give her that first feed. Hello. Hello. You're doing really well with this meal. Yeah. You're enjoying that. I am.
Hey, babes.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Jenny's improvement came with the help of an intensified programme of medication, which she's now agreeing to take. But also key to her recovery is rebuilding her bond with Libby.
We videoed you and Libby together.
Yeah.
And now we're going to look back at it together.
It's
What
like-
do you think you're going to see?
Probably less eye contact than I'm expecting.
Right, okay.
I think I tended to focus on giving her what she needs in terms of her sort of physical requirements,
Okay.
and maybe less in terms of emotional stuff and bonding and things
Well,
like
that's
that.
really interesting you said that, because I've had a look at the video and I've picked a moment that I'd like to show you.
Okay. Yeah.
You do a fantastic job there of copying her.
Yeah.
What's happening right now between the two of you?
We're having a little conversation
You are.
again.
Yeah.
So she's doing more noises and trying to copy more noises.
Yeah, yeah. So what did she do just then? Did you notice?
Yeah, she turned to look at me because I moved down to where she
Yeah.
could see me.
Yeah. So is that a surprise for you, given what you said a minute ago?
Yeah, it is actually. I didn't realise I was doing that.
Mm.
It's given me a bit more confidence to keep trying the things that I would naturally do, and also shows me that instinctively there are things that I'm doing that are, you know, positive things, and normal parent things as well. Libby, hello. 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 5 little ducks went swimming one day over the hill and far away. Mummy duck said,
I'm hoping for Jenny to return to herself, and I think today is the best I've seen her since she first came in around 3 or 4 months ago.
only 3 little ducks came back.
Things are improving, but I'm still very aware of it. Every time I talk to her, there's still quite a way to go. Like the very first bit of spring, when you first start seeing bulbs coming up, there's a bit of hope that things are going to get better. And there's lots of stuff to look forward to.
Good girl. Good little girl. You had a busy day today. Had some time with Daddy. Now it's time to go to sleep. That's a good girl.
It's coming.
Dr. Gregoire is confident that Hannah is now recovered from her episode of illness, so she's been fully discharged from the unit. It's her first day back at home.
It does feel amazing just to be at home, because there was times when I was ill when I wondered if I'd ever be able to get home. Mummy loves you. It was lovely yesterday when you said mum, 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 mum.
I don't know whether she did actually say mum. Are you sure it wasn't a figment of your imagination. You had just had ECT.
No, she definitely did. And Dr. Gregoire had said that he felt 11 ECTs would be enough for me. So the rest will be medication and just rebuilding my confidence at home. They're going to support me over the next 6 months to a year. And they're just making sure that obviously I have no slips back. Right now, it feels really different. It feels like I'm actually going to be able to enjoy watching my daughter grow up. I really thought I would lose friends. I was so embarrassed. I was scared. I was shocked. And I thought life was quite fulfilling before. So, yeah, I'm excited. And there's a little lady in the mix as well. It just feels, I don't know, it feels like a fresh start for me.